Eskrimer is an upgraded version of the original Fencer class. As of right now, it is considered a special class and can only be unlocked through the Leticia Cube. It's important to note that players cannot advance into both Fencer and Eskrimer at the same time. This means that if you advance into Fencer, you cannot advance into Eskrimer and vice versa. If you're a big fan of Fencer, I highly recommend unlocking Eskrimer. Eskrimer has a unique attribute called Toucher, which grants 1 stack of the Toucher buff whenever you use an attack skill. The buff lasts for 60 seconds and your character can gain stacks even without hitting enemies. The Toucher passive increases your character's minimum critical chance by 1% and accuracy by 2% per stack. Once your character reaches the maximum of 15 stacks, they gain a special buff that lasts up to 10 seconds. During this period, your character cannot gain additional Toucher stacks, but you're able to activate a powerful burst ability called Pasata Soto. Eskrimer's Tier 1 abilities include Tatak Enchaîné, Set Eclair, and Grand Font. Tatak Enchaîné allows the user to unleash multiple thrust attacks at lightning speed, piercing several targets in close quarters combat. This ability has a very large hitbox, enabling your character to reach enemies from a fair distance. Tatak Enchaîné has an attribute called Ouvert, which reduces the skill's factor by 20%, but grants the user a buff for 2 seconds upon use, increasing Eskrimer's skill damage by 20% when attacking enemies. Set Eclair is a stabbing ability that allows the user to deliver multiple rapid strikes in a short period of time, dealing high burst damage and ignoring enemy defense. Grand Font is a dashing ability that lets the user release a powerful burst attack, piercing through multiple enemies. The player can freely aim this ability in any direction, even if the character is locked onto a target. Additionally, all 3 of these abilities grant Toucher stocks upon use. Eskrimer's Tier 2 abilities include Invitation, Avant-Garde, and Rafale. Invitation is a deflect ability. It allows the user to spin the tip of the rapier to deflect incoming attacks, blocking 100% of the damage while channeling. Upon completion, it grants your character a buff called Pret, which increases the final damage of Pasata Soto. This final damage bonus cannot exceed 20%. Avant-Garde grants the user a 30-minute buff that increases final damage whenever your character lands a critical hit with Eskrimer skills. Rafale is a thrust attack that allows the user to unleash a rapid series of strikes in a short period of time, dealing high burst damage and applying double the value of your critical rate bonus on hit. This gives your character a major advantage when fighting enemies with high critical resistance. Rafale also grants the user a Toucher stock upon use. Finally, we have Pasata Soto. This is a burst ability that allows the user to lunge directly at enemies. It requires 15 Toucher stacks to activate. Pasata Soto also gains a significant final damage bonus if your character has the Pret buff from Invitation. Pasata Soto also has an arts attribute called Eclair, which disables the lunge effect and allows the user to activate the skill without moving. Eskrimer's Vaivora is called Eclair. At level 4, it grants the user +1 to all Eskrimer skills, and it increases Rafale's final damage by 50% and Pasata Soto's final damage by 100%. There are multiple ways to set up Eskrimer's combos. First, you always want to activate Avant-Garde to boost the final damage of Eskrimer's skills whenever your character lands a critical hit. After that, start the combo with Tatak Enchaîné. Using the skill with the Ouvert Arts attribute grants a buff that increases all Eskrimer's skill damage by 20% for 2 seconds. If you're far from the target, you can start with Tatak Enchaîné, then follow with Grand Font as a gap closer. If you're already close to the target, you should consider using Tatak Enchaîné, then Rafale for burst damage. Remember, Eskrimer's Vaivora grants Rafale an additional 50% final damage, so it's important to use this skill as soon as it becomes available. Even though the Ouvert Arts buff only lasts for 2 seconds, it is possible to fit 2 skills inside that window. This is only possible with combos like using Tatak Enchaîné, then Rafale, and finishing with Grand Font. Keep in mind that both Grand Font and Rafale have very short skill animations. If you're not comfortable using this specific sequence to maximize the buff duration, you should consider using Tatak Enchaîné, then Grand Font, and then using Tatak Enchaîné again before Rafale. This means you'll be adding Tatak Enchaîné before each main skill to ensure they receive the damage bonus. So the basic combo looks something like this. When you have enough touche stacks, you want to use Invitation and cancel it immediately. This allows your character to receive a final damage buff that boosts Posada Soto's damage. After that, you can use Posada Soto at the end of your rotation for a strong burst. Posada Soto also has an optional Arts attribute that allows your character to use the skill without moving. This attribute depends heavily on your playstyle. Keeping the attribute off reduces the mana cost and allows your character to lunge toward the enemy. Keeping it on removes the lunge effect but increases the mana cost by 30%. For the skill build, you want to max Totok and Shane, set Eclair, Grand Font, Rafale, Avant-Garde, Posada Soto, and put 1 point into Invitation. You'll need 21 extra skill points to achieve this build, so a high-level character is recommended.